My name is Jonah Taylor. This is my wife Jennifer Taylor, and we have a company called Tailored Properties, which is our renovation company. We also have the Smart Move Group, which is the name of our Keller Williams Realty team. But today primarily we're going to talk about Tailored Properties and how we operate and function from that standpoint. We try to flip about 10 to 15 houses a year. You know, that's just what we've gotten to where we're comfortable with. As we grow our team, we can do more, but Jennifer and I really appreciate the time we have for each other. The time we have for our kids, the time we have to do other things is very important to us. So we like that number, but as we bring on more people, we'll be able to do more, like Emlyn here. So, anything we want to add on to that? Okay, so I'm just going to dive into some of the stuff we talked about in the last class then real quick. Okay, so last time, if I can get a marker, we talked about the 3 key hires that you're going to need to flip a house. Right?
Does anybody remember what those were?
Does anyone remember the 3 key hires that you're going to need?
Realtor, contractor, and
money. And money. That's right. Yep, yep.
Can't forget the money.
No, don't forget the money.
I have the mouth of the loan.
You know, and just real quick, why is a realtor important? I mean, is anyone not a realtor in here? It's okay if you're not. Okay? Okay. It's going to be important because, I mean, how else are we going to find our houses as fast? When you're dealing with flipping houses, speed is everything, right? Being able to find the properties very quickly, get someone out to see them quickly, make sure you're getting your numbers quickly, because especially in the seller's market right now, and the surplus of investors, I mean, they're hot and they go fast. Even we're seeing this. It's becoming difficult even for us and the people who mentor us to buy houses, right? So this is really getting to be a challenge. So that's why it's important to work with a realtor, be able to buy your houses fast, sell your houses fast, comp houses fast, right? Everything that we should all be pretty good at and pretty well versed at, right? Yeah, the second one is the contractor. And obviously someone's got to do the work on the house. And if that's not you, right, to leverage this, you want to have someone who can do all that work for you. Also kind of create the buffer between all the concerns and problems of the construction, that you're not the one who receives all those phone calls. So if you have that person, it's kind of like a buffer. They'll field most of that, and you can kind of go on finding more money, finding more properties, which we've identified as the 2 most important things that really, as the director of your company, you need to be spending your time doing. Right? Because you'll never have enough. Trust me. You find more money, you just buy more houses. You buy more houses, you got to find more money. It never ends. It never ends. In fact, our mentor, who does like 300 a year, still is always trying to find ways to get more money. So it's just, you know, this is a problem that never goes away. Just so you guys know. Yeah. It is. It is. Yeah. So the contractor, obviously, someone's got to do all that work, and without the contractor, that person is you. And unless you want to be on site every single day, keeping your business small, it's just not going to be very efficient for you to do it if you're the contractor. However, it can totally be done, right? It's just not the way that we've chosen to scale it. And then obviously you need the investor. This is the person that has all the money that you're hoping to make someday, right? You want to be that guy, and that's why you're doing these other things and flipping houses.
Is anybody in this room that guy?
Is anybody lucky enough to be this guy?
No.
Is anyone lending out
well,
money?
we had one guy last
So
time.
the reason why this guy is the absolute best is because he or she has a lot of money, and they're going to charge you a lot of money just to use it. They're not going to do any of the work on the house, right? They're probably not even going to go see it. They're not even going to care as long as you bring good numbers, you follow through on your word. He's going to let you borrow money, and he's probably going to make as much as you do. And now I don't just mean the realtor or the contractor, I mean the flipper themselves. Lots of times that investor will make as much as the flipper themselves. So it's a very, very strong place to be, good position to be the investor on the property. However, that means you have to be very successful at whatever you do and have made a lot of money, right? Any questions on those 3? That was what we covered in the last class. Pretty straightforward stuff, right? Sure. Okay, in the last class we also covered the topic of money. Some of the questions were, where do I get it? How much do I need? Can I flip a house with my own money or without any money of my own? And so Jen, if you want to just quickly take us through that.
Yeah, sure. So like, just like Jonah said, just to recap, where do we get money? So we talked about different ways to find money. You have your hard money lender, which are going to be the hardest terms. You're looking at paying 3 points, 12% interest. Some are a little bit more lenient, but overall the terms are pretty tough. You also have soft or private money, and that could be, you know, I think I use your rich Uncle Frank. You know, he's got a lot of money, he's comfortable with you, that's willing to invest in you, and may have softer terms. You know, may be willing to pay the points up front for you, may be willing to hold all interest payments to the end. You know, so soft money. The other thing that we talked about was debt, the use of debt. Now, we don't advise anybody to use a bunch of debt to get started. Obviously, be very smart when you're doing that, but I can tell you that Jonah and I use debt to get started. You know, we had personal lines of credit, we had credit cards and stuff for anything that overflowed that we needed money quickly. We could tap into those lines of credit in order to get the job done in the beginning instead of using cash or our cash or savings.
Right. And we didn't necessarily plan it that way. It's just that was a very helpful, handy tool to be able to float the rest of the renovation when we didn't necessarily maybe have the $20,000 just sitting in our own bank account, you know, on that first flip or whatnot.
The other thing that we talked about is it possible to buy a house with none of your own money? And then typically, how much do you need? So my answer to that question was no, you can't buy a house with no money, because most of us sitting in this room are real estate agents. We know that there's closing costs involved in buying a house. You know, if you're just getting started, more than likely you're going to be using hard money, so you're going to have to pay points, you're going to have to pay your interest, you're going to have to pay your property taxes, you're going to have to pay your insurance, you're going to have to pay all these things up front. So with the example that we used, it was a relatively low purchase price and a lower reno on our first deal. We still ended up putting out about $15,000 in cash to buy that house.
Yeah, because even with hard money, they're not going to pay their own points, right? They're not going to pay, you know, their own fees, so you got to have something. So this whole idea of like you can just buy a house, or you know, you hear these ads and stuff they run on the radio, 100%, you know, fine, we'll take care of everything. They'll take care of the purchase and the reno, maybe. A lot of places won't even do that. They'll do 80% or 70%. However, there's still going to be buying costs, you guys, that you got to have. So it's going to cost some money to buy a house.
Yep. And then that kind of flowed into like the net concept and the flipping formula, which we're going to work through in this workshop with the example properties that we have. And does anybody remember what the net consisted of from last time? No? Come on. You. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Okay. So you're
There you go. Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
That's right. Good job.
So your buy, hold, sell. So your buying cost, obviously, like what I just talked about, your points and your interest and your property taxes and so on. You're holding interest payments and, you know, utility bills and stuff that can add up. And then also you're selling, obviously, you've got to pay a realtor commission. You know, if you're with a brokerage, you pay a split, you pay property taxes and all that stuff. So the net concept accounts for all of that, so you get to see your true profit and your true bottom line after all of it. And if you do that right, it should fit very nicely into the flipping formula, which is the 70% rule. You know, you should be buying your house at 70% minus your reno cost, and that's your ideal purchase price.
Yeah.
So the 30% is the buy, hold, sell?
Pretty much, yep. The 30% on that is your buy, hold, and selling cost, and then also your profit.
Yeah.
And the profit.
Right.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah. So that was just kind of a blaze through everything we talked about in the last class. For those who weren't here, and a quick recap for those who were. Any questions on that? Does all that make pretty good sense? Everyone gets that stuff? Yeah.
Go over the 70% rule a little bit.
Sure.
Sure.
Here's a marker.
Yeah, so the 70% rule, it basically says what you should be buying your house for. It's going to be 70%. So you've got your ARV.
After repair value.
After repair value times 0.70% minus your reno cost equals your ideal purchase price. So if you know or have a real estate agent that you're working with that knows what your ARV is going to be, so what is your house going to be worth after you put the money into it, after you fix it up, if you times that number by 70%, deduct out your reno cost, that's what you should be paying for the property.
Yeah, and at this point in the market that we're in, this is tough to find properties and get them for this. I mean, you're going to do, You should always run this on a property, but you're gonna find that like either you seem like you're way, way, way low, or they're way, way, way high.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that everywhere too.
Yeah, I mean, there's houses that we pull up that look like a great deal. I mean, they're really, really pieces. And, you
It's
know,
true.
you run the numbers and they're like $100,000 to $150,000 overpriced. And you're just so far apart that, you know, it's not even worth offering, or you send it out and you're laughed at.
Yeah, it's laughable.
Which, I mean, we always say and joke, you know, if they're not laughing at us, then we're not.
Right, if you're not
Right,
slightly
low
embarrassed
enough
by your
offers.
offer, you're not low enough.
I'm offering too much if they're not
Right.
laughing at me, you know,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah. It's too early to know right now because a lot of the investors who have purchased this house are probably in the process of actually rehabbing them or so on. We'll never, I guess, know the stat. I would like to know how many people are losing a lot of money with these purchases. And it's, I don't know, I just can't see how they're making money, even if, I mean, our numbers aren't the best. I know that people can buy things, houses cheaper than us, maybe get the rental done cheaper than us. But with the money that they're paying for these, I don't see how anybody's making money. In fact, I'm pretty sure they're losing.
yeah,
So we don't feel bad.
Yeah, the only thing that I can think of, and I mean, and there's a lot of hard money, and most people use hard money and private money, unless you've got your own money and the investor that's buying it has their own money and they don't have to account for the points or the holding costs. That gives you a little bit of a buffer, but it doesn't give you 50 grand of a buffer.
Right.
You know, or they're totally underestimating the repair costs, or they're just doing a crappy job and not paying, you know, a high dollar reno, but it's also shown in their work. So I mean, there's a lot of different things that go into that, but
Yeah.
personally, I mean, we feel that they're just overpaying for it.
Yeah.
So like rentals are a certain price per square foot, and then if we've got a property that say is up to $250,000, we'll base our reno off of a certain price per square foot, because, you know, just for instance, as an example, bathrooms in a $250,000 house don't have to be tiled. You can use the tub surround and save money on tiling there. You know, versus a $650,000 resale house where you're going to have to spend more money in the reno in order to get it all back out. You're going to have to tile. You're going to have to spend that money in the bathroom. So we have kind of a scalable price per square foot model that we use to determine what our reno is going to be. And then when we're looking at properties initially before we go out to see them, we use that. And if the deal makes sense using that, then we'll send the contractor out there to either confirm it or to say, this is actually pretty good, I think we can do it for less, or holy crap, this house just needs to be torn down, you know, and run away as fast as you can. So.
Yeah, and we're actually going to go through that in depth on that sheet. Because everything, so obviously at Keller Williams here, there's a process and model for everything. And so we had to make a process and a model for that too, because it's not very efficient for us. Every time we see a property, just send someone out to it. It's a great way to lose a contractor by wasting his time. So you have to have a way that you can get close enough and deem it worthy. And this is a great way to be able to do that you can do fairly quickly. Okay, so now before we get into that, we thought it would be kind of, I guess, fun and helpful. I don't know how fun it will be for us, maybe for you guys, to go through a few of the hard lessons that we've learned by doing things wrong. So the blunders that we've had, a few properties that we've seen tank, more or less because of the bad things that we did on them. So we've identified 3 properties that we're going to share with you guys what we did wrong and what you're not going to do wrong, right? What you're going to do right.
Who's excited to laugh at us?
Us sharing, like the dumb crap we did, right? Okay. So with that said, the first property we had, this was our second flip ever. Okay, and it was we just called the properties by the street that they're on. This was Daniels Road. Okay, so second flip ever. We're pretty excited about it. In fact, we were on vacation when we bought it. We knew we bought it right. So in investing and flipping, you know, you make your money in the buy, right? You make your money when you buy things low. Well, we knew we bought it at a good price, so we were excited. Whatever the renovation was going to be, it was going to be okay. You know, so we were excited about that. We got back home, got the whole process started, and without some, well, we took some bad counsel on this one. Okay, plain and simple. We were new. So we didn't necessarily know how this would play out to us, and we didn't start the property by getting all the permits.
So the lesson to this is get your permits.
Right, we'll circle
Yeah.
back to that, but yeah, so we didn't get all the permits that you need. Normally when you start a flip or any type of process like that, you want to start off, get your building permit, and then whatever you're going to do from there, get those permits. So we dove in, we didn't do a crappy job on this house, guys. Like, we went all out on this. This was a really fun project. We did quality work. We had a lot of fun with it. I mean, the whole process was exciting. We even like videoed it. We were like, man, this is going to be awesome. This is our second flip. We were pumped.
I think we ended up spending $135,000 to $140,000 on this house.
Yeah, we were not going cheap.
It was not cheap, and we replaced every system. We
Yeah.
replaced the electrical. We replaced the plumbing.
Everything.
We replaced the windows.
It was a complete
We replaced everything in this house.
Now, the idea behind not getting your permits, right, was what you probably all heard if you started this, you know, or got too far into it. Permits take a long time, right? They're going to hold you up, which means they're going to cost you a lot of money, right? Because permits are also expensive. What are some of the other misconceptions about permits? You got to deal with the county. The county's going to make you do way more than you want to do, right? I just want to add a fireplace. No, they're going to tell you to rip the whole living room out. So all these misconceptions. That's what we had in our head, and that's the advice we took. So, granted, we were naive, we were dumb, we didn't know what we were doing. Went through this whole process, listed the house. I mean, we're excited. I'm getting showings, calls, and stuff right away. And
I think we had like 20 showings in one day, like a few days in a
it was
row.
killing
was
it,
ridiculous.
right? Like, we're just
Yeah.
pumped. We're just pumped. It's our second one. We're like, man, we look
Yeah, it was so exciting.
we look
then-
legit, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
man. You know, we're going around talking like, we're flippers, guys. We flipped houses, you should see what we did. And then all of a sudden, the snowball
reality.
started to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so up until that point, everything was perfect. Everything was perfect. We had no problem. And I would get calls, and here's the funny thing too, I've never really had this since then, so it's almost like, I don't know.
But now we lay the permits out on the
Oh
counter.
my gosh, you guys
Like,
should see us when we have
you know,
permits.
they're
Yeah,
like
someone's like, you have
golden
permits? I'm like,
tickets on
you
the
want me to
counter.
go through the whole thing with you? Look, I got all
Like, these are like worth $5,000.
yeah, I'm like, here, touch it, hold it. You know, okay, so agents start to call me. Hey, we're super excited in the house, we love it. Do you guys have your permits? And I'm like, oh, you know, well, I mean, we have licensed contractors and those guys, you know what I mean? Like, they do good stuff. You don't need permits, I got the right guy. I called again. So they backed out. They backed out. The next call, you know, hey, yeah, we love the house. My client wants to move in. Can you just send us the permits that you guys got? I'm like, what the? Like, why are they asking for permits? Okay, so finally, it sat for a fair while. It didn't sell right away. We were getting a little bit antsy. We're new at this. We don't have a lot of capital, right? Like, we need to sell it pretty fast. And so finally we get an offer. It's a low one, but we're still going to do okay. We're still going to make money. We're not going to make a ton, but we're going to make money. Okay.
Yeah.
This is where it completely falls apart. They come in, they get their inspections done. Okay. Now.
Yeah, I've never seen. Okay, question. How?
Okay. Yeah.
What's
Here's
the
the great.
biggest inspection report that anybody's ever had in here? How many pages? Has
Yeah,
anybody
any
had like a
agent in here, I just wanna
25-page?
hear.
89?
89 pages.
Okay, well you don't.
Okay,
count.
actually, I feel way better about myself.
Yeah.
All
That
of a
was a
sudden.
tear down.
Seriously?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
wow, that's a big one. Okay, so what was ours?
47 pages.
47 pages long
He tore
of
us a new one.
repairs. Now, what I'm assuming is he went in and he was, and actually, okay, so I hate the guy still to this day. He did his job really well. That is the number one reason why I do not like him. I mean, you can see right off the bat, I think he identified there was a problem with the permits. He actually looked to pull
It was
them,
like in
and there were
bold
none.
letters.
Okay.
On the
Yeah.
first page, bold letters on the first page.
No permits. So here's one of the side effects to not getting your permits that you really don't see in a monetized value, but automatically that puts fear in buyers,
Yeah.
right? So right off the bat, any single thing that they could make a note of, they did. All the way down to, I kid you not, we even fixed it. The toilet paper holder was slightly crooked. They put it in there, and yes, we did fix it because we wanted to instill trust in them again. Like, we tried to do a good job here, guys.
Yeah, I think
40?
they had like 40 repairs on their repair notice. And we did them all.
And we did everything. We
We
did
did 'em all.
everything. Now, even to the point where they're like, you know, we want you guys to get your permits, and we're like, well, this is your class.
I know, I
You
know.
got your phone going off in your own class? You know, we're like, okay, it's too late in the game for us to get permits. However, we could still permit the deck, because we built a big old beautiful deck. So we did get that permit, and we got licensed contractors to sign off on everything, right? I mean, like, and even, they were so picky, they're like, I wanted to say a specific, like
Like the
paragraph, and it
verbiage,
was like,
yep.
work has been done to code in a workmanlike manner that everyone respects, and we're like, yeah, we'll do it. Okay. They go to get their gas set up. The plumber has to come in to set that up. County comes in just to make sure they
Everything's
can't do
code.
anything all of a sudden. They can't hook up gas to their house because the county won't allow them to hook up gas to the house because there's no permit. Okay, so now all of a sudden Jennifer and I are like, OMG. We're new, right? We're pretending like we know what we're doing, right? We have no idea. Okay. Guess it. Okay. No plumbing permit. They come in. They pull us aside for no electrical permit. No
Then they look
HVAC
at
permit.
HVAC, yep.
No building permit.
They went up in the attic and saw that we opened a doorway and there was a beam.
No structural
No
permit.
structural building permit.
So all of a sudden, we're sitting in this gorgeous house, but like, and I don't know why in the world these people continue to buy the house, bless their hearts. I don't know. They still went through with the deal. I mean, they closed, and like, I remember when they actually did close, like Jennifer and I, we're like high five,
Yeah,
like we're done. Oh my
had like,
gosh.
I think I had like 4 margaritas that night.
Yeah, exactly. It was 4 pictures of margarita. Just classic.
Yeah.
Okay, but see, that's not even the end of
No,
it.
that's not the end.
That's not even the end of it. So at that point, we thought we were off the hook. Okay, so like a month later, I get a message from the admin of the other agent saying, we got problems, guys. Like, we still can't get the gas turned on. They won't turn it on. Okay, so over the course of the next year, Jennifer and I spend probably once every 2 or 3 weeks going back to this house.
There was a channel, like the drywall, the brand new drywall in the house. The inspectors made us open up a channel around the entire house. The entire house. Every single wall
Had to be open.
a 3-foot channel around the entire house, ceilings, everywhere.
Now these buyers, they turned on us. They were no longer our
Electrical
friends,
plumbing, everything.
right? They were no longer our friends. This ended up going to,
Mediation.
they filed a claim against us, a
Yeah,
lawsuit.
They threatened to sue us 2 days before Christmas.
Yep, 2 days before Christmas, we get served papers saying we're gonna take you to court. So now, I mean, just like the stress and anxiety of this whole thing is like incredible. We will never ever do it that way again. We're telling you, like, it gets even worse though, because now we have to go through this whole long, drawn out court process. We ended up going to mediation, which it actually turned out to be.
And we're lucky we did because
Lucky.
I don't know if you guys know in the MAR contract, I think, what is it, a year after sale? We were past a year. They could have taken us straight to court.
Yeah, because
But-
within a year you have to go to mediation. Now this was after a year. They could have totally 100% sued us for it all. Luckily, we still went to mediation and were able to settle for about $10,000.
But we had already put about $7,000 into their house before during the whole permitting process. So the inspectors ripped us a new one. We had to update all the panels to, the electrical panels to the arc faults. We
Yep,
had
everyone.
to seal all of the tiniest, I mean, it's a brand new HVAC system, tiniest little holes had to be sealed in, like, basically the entire system had to be resealed.
Yep.
The switches, like the light switches, they were too cheap for the inspector. We had to go back and change out every single switch and every single outlet to a higher grade outlet and switch in the
Yeah.
entire house.
At this point too, and yes, if you're thinking, well, maybe they're just sticking it to us, yes, they were.
They
That was the county, just for, like, but we knew that. Like, they had told us that. Like, we're gonna make you do everything 100% correct now. Now, 2 lessons, guys, came from that. The most obvious one, always get your permit, right? Always. I'll tell you right now, it doesn't save you time. And so, here's some of the benefits. Like, it's not even that permits are a drag. Oh, it's gonna cost me money and time. Permits actually can be great things. It helps you sell your house. when someone comes up with a big fat inspection report and says, here, now I go to my permits and say, county signed off on that.
Yeah.
The county already came through and inspected that. That's fine. So I can't tell you how many times I've actually brought that up, saved me time and money, two things I was concerned about, right? Because I already had a county inspector tell me it was good. Your inspector doesn't match up to my inspector, you know. The other lesson there, though, is always do the right thing, right? The one thing that Jennifer and I did do in this, and the other lesson that we learned besides always get your permits, is after we found out that we had really hurt this family, like when they bought it and they couldn't get heat, Jennifer and I were never like, screw them, let's get out of this deal. Even though we didn't.
Yeah, because they knew about the permits. They knew the house wasn't permitted.
When they bought it, they knew that,
They knew
right?
it.
We told them in the inspection report. So, but we always tried to do the right thing to make up for the bad decision that we had. So, I mean, we came back time and time and time and time again. And when we went to mediation, I know this helped us. I know this helped us. The lawyer sitting on the other side has a notebook with maybe like 5 sheets, right, of things that you know he's going to bring up against us. Jennifer and I kept a record of everything that we did. And I kid you not, Jennifer comes in with a stack like that big of our case.
In like
Of
chronological,
everything that we did.
time-stamped order.
Yeah.
And I just went through the entire story.
She, on her own, outworked their attorney. I kid you not. Like she literally, like every time they had a problem, she's like, but I do remember back here on Friday, this is blah, blah, blah. Like you said this, and this was my response. You know, and every time we just did the right thing. You know, it's going to cost us $3,000 to do that, babe. You know what? We just got to do the right thing. We brought this. So those 2 lessons on that house, I hope you guys, when you do this, always remember, always get your permits. It actually helps to get your permits. And then always have integrity. Even if you did make a bad decision, right? A lot of contractors and flippers, we know, it's like they made a bad decision, they just disappear. They're not trying to make it better. But by trying to make it better, we were able to justify that and come back. And now that's one of the biggest lessons that we share. Okay, so that takes us to the next one. There's 3 of these that we want to share. That was the first one. The next one was on a road, Daisy Road, so we refer to this as the Daisy House. You want to share this one?
Yeah, so this one, basically the gist of this story is to play nice with the county. So this one, it was a little while after Daniels Road. I mean, we had a bunch more under our belts by this time, but we were back in Howard County.
Yeah, Daniels Road was in Howard County, by the way, which is a very challenging county. If you've ever flipped a house, they're not the most pleasant.
So with this particular house, you know, all was said and done, we had taken the permit down to the office, and lo and behold, it gets held up. You know, but my guys, they went into the house and they started demoing the house out. Well, you don't need a permit to demo the house. We didn't do anything structural to the house yet. We just tore everything out. But the inspector, the building inspector that was on Daniels Road,
Saw this
took
house.
over this one.
Oh, no.
And came and put a stop work order right on the front of the house and shot it over to the health department and said, basically, you need to review this and don't sign off on it yet.
I'm pretty sure in Howard County, now I hope that you guys like us, like we seem very nice people. I would hope that you guys would think that about us. I'm pretty sure in Howard County records, though, there is a giant like red asterisk next to our names from some of the early on just crap we pulled in Howard County.
Yeah, so this one, they basically held us up for 9 months.
9 months.
Over a septic system. And not only did they want me to just replace the septic system, I had to put the Cadillac
The
in.
BAT system.
And it
You
wasn't
guys
just
heard
the
of that?
BAT system, it had like the additional system on top of it. I don't even know what it was called.
What does BAT stand for again?
The best,
Best
available,
available
technology, but like the best available technology had the best available technology on top of it.
Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah, we got the Tesla of septic systems on
there,
that house.
yeah, at the tune of like 35 G's.
Yeah.
But it could have all been avoided if I would have just rolled over and took the county for what they were saying when they told me to initially replace the septic system about a month in.
Yeah, because they were kind of, at this point, so we had Daniels Road not too long ago, right? It wasn't the next flip, we had a few in between, but I think they still quite remembered our fiasco there. So we knew, they openly told us that they were going to put us through the ringer on this Daisy Road project, right? So we knew we were going to have to do some, even in our world, unnecessary improvements. But I don't think we ever realized they were going to do that to the tune of a brand new high-end Cadillac septic system.
Yeah, and I think if you guys were in the last class, Jonah made mention that I don't have much patience.
Yeah.
So I was not the nicest person to deal with at the county over the phone.
Hold on. So this is Jen. All right. So this is Jen. Okay. So at one point they told us that, right? Like they told us we're gonna make this challenging for you, and it's like basically trying to intimidate us the county way. And so now we could have, I guess, you know, like Jen said, just kind of rolled over and all right, you know, it is what it is. We'll comply. However, that didn't fly, especially with this one. And I mean, so she started off with that inspector, right? Went to his manager, to their lead, She brought it all the way to the governor. I kid you not.
Yeah.
She was talking to the governor about how this is bogus. They can't do this stuff to us, blah, blah, blah. But see, here's the thing. When you're dealing with the government, forever. So 9 months went by, and what ended up happening is that just ate up every ounce of profit we had. Not to mention, we still had to put the septic system in.
Yeah.
So now, luckily, you guys, this is no joke. This is not a lie. We followed this. So even after 9 months of holding and a brand new septic system, we walked away as a wash. We didn't lose any money on this house. 9 months. It took us basically a year to flip this house. And we had to put a whole new septic system, but we still just washed it. So that's why this is so powerful. I know it's tough to find houses like in this. I'm just telling you now, you're going to run this formula, you're going to go, how in the world are you buying houses like that? It works. If you do it and you can get a house, I would never guarantee someone's going to make money. There's just a high probability that you'll do okay.
Yeah. Yep, so lesson 1, permits. Lesson 2, play nice with the county.
Yeah, that lesson is just sometimes it's easier, you know, put your pride aside, ego down, and just get the job done, right? Just comply.
Yeah.
So then that takes us, we want to do a kind of a recent one too, and so I don't know if you guys saw our recent clipping tree project. We just got that one done a few months ago, or it just sold a few months ago. We've been working on that one for a while. This was another scenario. We were super stoked to get it. I mean, it was a great buy. We knew the neighborhood. We knew that we were going to be able to do pretty well on it. I mean, the ARV was high. We thought, there's no way we can lose this one, right? There's no way we can blow this one. So about that time, too, Jennifer was pregnant with our other little boy. And so usually she's the one who oversees a lot of the budgets, a lot of the accounting type of stuff, right? But I mean, obviously, now she's busy. She's a little bit crazy. So,
thanks, honey.
yeah, right. Crazy awesome is what I was saying. So, but what we didn't do on this one is we didn't keep tight tabs on this budget. So what happened is just little things over time. It was a bigger flip, right? It was a bigger flip, but over time, just more. Not keeping tabs on this budget, and all of a sudden, before we know it, the budget has almost doubled. It doesn't take, so it probably seems like, how in the world does that happen, right? Like you talk about $1,000 here, $500 here, $200 there. It seems so small. That's exactly why you don't even pay attention to it. If you got a $150,000 budget, you see 600, you're like, whatever. But all of a sudden, when you see 630 times, you say whatever, right? You just blew your profit. So our budget almost doubled. Why? Because we weren't able to keep a tight eye on it, and our contractor definitely let us down there. Didn't keep a tight eye on it. He was just doing what needed to get done. He wasn't necessarily worried about how much it cost. And another lesson there, guys, is why we try to pay a lot of our guys out of the profit, so we have the same vision. If they get paid out of the profit, they want to make profit. We want to make profit. If they get paid on the budget, then the bigger the budget, the more they get paid. So we don't have the same ideas. We don't have the same vision for the flip. So we try to pay guys out of the profit now. So that way everybody wants to make a big profit. To get back to the clipping tree story where we just got off on a little rabbit trail there, we didn't keep our eyes on the budget like we should have. And so the budget basically blew up. And what we went from a six-figure potential profit turned all the way into a $60,000 loss. All because we didn't keep track, right? We thought there's enough room here, right? We were lazy with it. We just got lackadaisical with our approach to it.
And that's
that
real money,
whole
guys,
swing.
yeah.
And that's real money, right? Like I think I said this in the last class. It's not like that's a company's dollar, right? Where you can lose it and, oh, you know, we'll make it back. Like, no, we lost $60,000 together. That was very, we're still
A little hurt.
sensitive to that,
Yeah.
yeah. So the lesson there is, whether it's you, or whether it's someone on your team, or whether it is your contractor, always be reviewing that budget. And if it's gonna go up, which is fine, sometimes you make changes, it's okay. Know exactly why, keep it accountable, stay close to it, because you guys, if you don't wanna lose that much. You don't wanna lose ever. But if you're gonna lose, because this is still a risky game, it's not like we're all guaranteed to make money on all our flips. It's just not gonna happen. You're gonna have some that you go, man, we should have stayed away from that one, and we know what we know. But here's the good thing about flipping. If you use this and you do it right, when you win big. When you lose a little. It's not that huge of a gamble. People think it's crazy, but you know, if you think, all right, in this game, if maybe I make 60 if I win. If I lose 8. I'd take that. I'd take that all the time. As long as I don't consistently lose 8 all the time. I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah.
So
You're in the wrong business.
those are just three projects that we thought would be very helpful as you guys are kind of getting started to learn these lessons early on. Always get your permits. It's actually beneficial to you. It helps you with marketing. It helps you with reputation. It helps you with credibility. Always get your permits. Keep your eyes tight on the budgets, right? Follow them, scrutinize them, ask a lot of questions. Like you're saying about the contractor. Ask them, why does this cost that much? Why does this cost that much? We did a project and this was $10,000. Why is it $12,000 all of a sudden? We're doing the same amount of work. What happened? Right? Get more than one bid. Don't just get one bid. Then you have no idea if you're being upsold. You're just taking their word. If you get 2 guys and tell them, right? I need a bid from you because I already got another one and I just want to make sure that it's good.